Is print on demand dead? Is it oversaturated? These are the questions that I hear all the time. And today I want to tell you the truth about print on demand in 2025. Was that intriguing? Was that mysterious? That was what I was going for. Something I am not going to do is drag this out. And so, no, print on demand is not oversaturated. Print on demand is not dead. Print on demand is not going anywhere anytime soon. But if you are approaching it in the wrong way, it's going to feel oversaturated, dead, difficult, hard to actually see results with. The real reason that most people don't actually see success with print on demand and assume it's dead and oversaturated and all of the things is because they're looking at print on demand as the business. And the truth is, print on demand is not the actual business that you're starting. I've been guilty of this where I say I have print on demand businesses, that I've started print on demand businesses, and you hear other individuals online say things like start a print on demand business. Here's how you're going to start a print on demand business. And that verbiage, that phrase isn't really the most accurate thing to say because print on demand isn't a business. Print on demand is actually a fulfillment method. When you're starting a business that is using print on demand, you're actually starting a product-based business. You might be starting an apparel business, a drinkware business, a notebook business, a general business that sells all of those different product types. Then you're using print on demand to fulfill your orders. So the actual business of it is actually from the products and the niches that you choose to focus on. When somebody says they're starting a print on demand business, what they're actually doing is starting a product-based business, and they're using print on demand to fulfill the products and the orders that they receive. Because print on demand is just a fulfillment method, saying that it's oversaturated doesn't really exist. But what can be oversaturated is maybe a market or a niche that you're looking to pursue. And the strategy is what truly matters when it comes to starting a print on demand business and actually scaling it to whatever goals you might have with it, whether it's just to make an extra little bit of income each month, or if you want it to be something that maybe replaces your 9 to 5. Now, right now, it also kind of sounds like saturation is the enemy. When it comes to a market that might be oversaturated, it's not as black and white as one might think. I've always come in with the approach that if something is oversaturated, if a ton of people are looking to pursue a certain product type, a certain niche, saturation also means that there is competition, which if there's competition, then that means that there's money to be made. And going into something that seems saturated, competitive, isn't necessarily always a bad thing. And I want to give you two perfect examples of this. First, we can think of Logan Paul. Logan Paul and KSI launched Prime, which Prime, if you're not familiar with, is essentially like another version of Gatorade or Powerade. One would probably think that this market's already saturated. There's tons of sports, energy drinks, electrolyte type beverages, but Logan Paul and KSI launched this brand and they brought massive success to it. They were able to do so because they brought strategy and unique branding to the table. And so even though they were offering a drink that honestly, there's probably other drink companies that have something that's nearly identical to what they sell, but they had a different approach and they brought a new value to the market. And that's why they are a very successful drink company. Another example recently is Alex Cooper, who is the owner, founder of the Unwell Network. She's known for the Call Her Daddy podcast. She is actually launching her own drink now, and it is basically the same thing, an electrolyte beverage. Maybe I'm missing the mark. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying, oh, it's the same thing. Maybe it really is different. I don't know. On paper, if you look at the ingredients, if you look at everything that's inside, I think it's pretty much the same thing. And one would probably think, well, that's probably a terrible idea. There's tons of other drink companies. Logan Paul already has his drink company. There's Gatorade. I'm actually literally drinking a Gatorade right now. But Alex Cooper has a vision. She has something that she feels her audience is going to connect with, or who her target customer is and what they would connect with. And she's launching it with a different strategy and different marketing to gear it towards a specific demographic and audience. I wanted to share these two examples because I think that these are prime examples, prime, get it? Sorry. I think that these are really great examples because they show what seems like a very saturated product category, but how two individuals have been able to carve their own path in that saturated market. And so you might be thinking, well, Taylor, I want to sell apparel. There is no way that I can see success with apparel. And so let me give you a third example. There are so many different loungewear brands, and I'm not even saying that you're looking to create print on demand loungewear. If we look at just two specific loungewear brands that have really done well in the last few years, one brand that comes to mind is the Mayfair brand, and another is White Fox. Again, on paper, if you look at what these products are made of, they're probably a mix of cotton and polyester. There's really no stark differences between the two products that these brands are offering. But these are two brands that have seen massive success in the apparel space. And these are just two examples. There's tons of other clothing companies and apparel brands, but they all come in with, you guessed it, unique strategy and an ideal customer that they know how to market to. One of the first concerns that I hear from an aspiring print on demand seller is, well, how am I going to compete on price? And my hot take is, you don't. Competing on price shouldn't ever even be in your thought process. When you offer something unique, something of value that's speaking to a specific person, price becomes a non-issue. Truly thinking that price is the limiting factor in why you couldn't see results and you couldn't see success, in my opinion, is a limiting belief that is only holding you back. These loungewear companies, you know what they sell a sweatshirt for? I'm going to just put a little glimpse right here of what these companies sell sweatshirts for. Basic sweatshirts. They are nice, I will say. I have a couple of them. They're very high quality. But nonetheless, people are going to pay for what they want and what they find valuable to them. It is not our role as business owners, as aspiring print on demand product sellers to judge another person's pocket. And thinking pricing is the only reason that you're not seeing success in sales is only a limiting belief that's holding you back from thinking bigger. Now, let's talk about where most businesses fail, because this is where print on demand really starts to feel hard for most people. In my opinion, the three most common reasons for failure are one, lack of strategy, two, poor product selection, and three, misunderstanding customer demand. And so this brings us to the big question. Who will actually succeed and see results with print on demand as their fulfillment method in 2025? To be very honest, gone are the days that you can just throw up a lazy listing. In 2025, success is going to require more effort and strategy, and you have to have that willingness to do what others aren't doing and stand out. In general, successful entrepreneurs don't just generally wing it. They're constantly learning, testing, and improving their processes. For print on demand, that could look like studying and analyzing different design trends, going and doing design research, analyzing the data within their own shop, or trying to really understand their audience better. But overall, they are consistently putting work into growing their business. They also understand that success is going to take time. It is very rare and unlikely that somebody's going to have an overnight success. Those who treat print on demand like a business and not just a hobby are going to thrive. Two, they have a commitment to understanding demand. When it comes to selling products online, if you're not selling something that is in demand and that people want, you're likely not going to see sales. I cannot emphasize this enough. Understanding demand is huge. If you don't understand what your audience wants, it does not matter how good your designs are. If it's not in demand, it's not going to sell. Successful entrepreneurs are going to continue to dig deep into that demand to truly understand their customer, separating what they like versus what their customer likes. These can be two completely different things. They continue to ask questions like, what's popular in my niche? What gaps in the market can I fill? And what style resonates with my audience? Three, they are creative problem solvers and they're solution oriented. Instead of focusing on things that they're lacking and where they're not seeing results, they're focusing on how they can get better and improve to see results. The ones who succeed don't try to copy everyone else. They always bring something new to the table. This can be things like a unique design style or maybe just a unique take on a popular niche. They're always asking, how can I make my products different in a way that feels valuable to my customer? And four, they have consistency and discipline. Discipline is doing things when you don't want to. It is very normal to not always have motivation. And I think that sometimes we get caught up in when we have a really high motivated day, we get a lot done, we feel on top of the world. And then the next day, we don't necessarily have that same energy and it kind of ebbs and flows. If discipline is a characteristic that you can truly embody, then that means doing the things even when you don't want to do them. But because you know you have to do them to get the results and get to the goal that you have for yourself. Fun fact, I want to run a marathon one day, and there are days that I don't enjoy running. It's normal. I don't even really like running. The only reason that I want to run a marathon is because I want to have the bragging rights of saying that I've run a marathon and be that 1% of the population that has. And so that requires discipline, getting up, getting out there, even when I don't want to. And those same principles I've had to apply to my print on demand businesses. I have to show up regardless of maybe the motivation that I'm feeling that day. And that is truly going to be something that separates those who see success and those who don't. Now, I want to round out this video with 5 actionable strategies that you can utilize and take away if you are somebody who's aspiring to have a successful print on demand business in 2025. The first strategy is going to sound a little redundant, but that is to have a clear strategy. As I mentioned earlier, just lazy listing and just throwing the spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks, isn't going to cut it. You have to have a strategy that is based on research that's going to guide you in every decision that you make. And this doesn't have to be some weird, unnecessary pressure type strategy. You're going to make mistakes along the way. You're going to make different choices that some will see more results and some will see less. That's normal. It doesn't have to be perfect. But what I'm really getting at here is we don't want to just be flying blind. And so having a clear strategy is more so just about having a plan. This can include things like outlining how frequently you're going to work on your business. How much time are you going to devote to that business? And can you make it more specific? When are you going to devote that time towards working on your business? Is it going to be something that you work on the weekends? If so, which day of the weekend and in what time frame are you going to actually sit down and work on it? Getting really specific with your plan is going to hold you accountable to actually get it done. 2, I want you to focus on smart product selection. When it comes to print on demand, not all products are created equal. And choosing too many product types right from the beginning is really only setting yourself up for overwhelm. What I recommend is to choose one product type. I love the phrase that a jack of all trades is a master of none, and I find this so true when it comes to actually being successful in a print on demand product. Oftentimes, I think that print on demand products are kind of lumped into one category where we think we can jump from one to the next and it's just a super simple lateral transition, when really different products really fall into such different categories and have to be approached and marketed and designed for in such different ways that creating for too many different things all at once makes you the jack of all trades, but you're really not a master in one, and you're not going to necessarily see the results that you want to by doing that, by being all over the place. The perfect combination of characteristics for the first product type that you choose to focus on is one that feels fun for you and one that has demand. Ideally, you want to marry those two things together, something that's fun and in demand. That is going to make this process a lot more enjoyable for you and hopefully get you on the path to sales. Third, I want you to master demand and design fundamentals. This is where design meets research. Now, I have tons of videos on my channel walking through exactly how I go about design research and then taking that design research and turning it into an actual design. I'm going to have those videos linked below, but this is a step in the process that I find gets skipped most often. When people are starting their product-based business, they immediately go to designing, and they are designing blind. They have no idea what is actually selling, what design styles are currently trending, how to create a design that looks cohesive. All of these components are so important, and that is where design research becomes vital to actually creating something that's going to sell. Strategy number 4, I want you to track and refine continuously. Your business is meant to look like a science experiment in the beginning. The important thing to remember about a science experiment is that you have independent and dependent variables. When you start adding in too many different variables and so many different elements all within your experiment, you start to get less accurate data. And so this kind of goes back to the recommendation of just sticking into one product type in the beginning and focusing there as your controlled variable, so to speak. With that controlled variable, then you can get a little bit more experimental with your niches and design style so that you can really analyze what is and isn't working. And that's really the main takeaway with this strategy. You want to make sure that you are constantly looking at the data in your business, understand what is getting traction, what isn't getting traction, and find areas of opportunity to double down so that you can scale a lot more efficiently. Strategy number 5, invest in long-term growth. Instead of just thinking about the next sale, think about how you can build a brand that's going to scale over time and understand that building a business does take time. This means creating a cohesive shop, understanding your customers, staying committed to improving, and most importantly, staying patient. So is print on demand dead? No. Is it oversaturated? No. But success in 2025 is going to come down to having a clear strategy, understanding demand, and putting in the work, which is exactly why I created my program, Plan, Scale, Profit. This program is part of my community, the POD Connection, and it walks you through everything that you need to know, my exact framework, and how I've successfully launched and scaled 2 multi-six-figure print-on-demand businesses, going through everything, strategy, product selection, understanding demand, and how to create designs that sell. My community, the POD Connection, is currently closed, but the doors do reopen on January 1st. Inside of the community, you get access to the full Plan, Scale, Profit program. This is a full course that is included in the membership. So a full 4-figure value course, literally inside of a 2-figure membership. By far the best value. On top of that, inside the POD Connection, we do monthly group coaching calls. You have access to the community where you can talk to other entrepreneurs, other aspiring print-on-demand entrepreneurs, myself, as well as I create monthly trend reports diving into what's working, all of the research that you need to know to grow and scale your business, and honestly, so much more. So if that's something that you're interested in, I will put the link to the waitlist down in the description box below. Joining the waitlist is no commitment. It just gets you on the list to be notified when doors open and get a little bit more information about the program and what's inside. If you're watching this in the future, if it's after January 1st, then the link to join will be in the description box below. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about print on demand in 2025? Let me know your biggest takeaways from this video. What are your thoughts? And what questions do you have about print on demand in 2025? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you've watched to this point in the video and you are not already subscribed, do me a favor, go down below, just boop that subscribe button. Thank you. Appreciate it. As always, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Something really funny about this setup right here. So I'm actually currently away. I'm in Newport Beach, beautiful area. I'm actually here for my husband's work. And this is the difference between what you see and what is actually going on, right? So we have beautiful lighting is good. I'm in this cute little chair. Reality is, for one, I've got my sweatpants on. For two, behind me is all my luggage. And it's just a train wreck, but that's life. Thanks for watching.